noise.
Let's talk more about these great records you guys put out toward the late 70s. So Witch Doctor came in 79, and what a leap over that debut we were talking about. So what kind of went into, what I would call the first full-fledged instant funk album, that one, Witch Doctor. So what do you remember about that experience?
Well, that experience was, okay, well, the first thing that you have to realize is that at the time, from that first album to that second album, we were still basically young kids. I mean, like I'm talking about, I was like, what, 18, 19, like 20 maybe, and like Raymond and like Scotty, well, Scotty was 4 years older than me, and Raymond about the same, So we were still, like learning basically, so at the time of running into like Bunny and Life and like Dexter and Sam Peaks and all these guys, we're steady learning now. So we were more into the music industry at that point than we were when we first started the course. So from that time, because Gamma and them only did that one album, and so we basically didn't have any deal. So we decided to, at that time, because like the Carries up in New York was just starting their Salsa label, and Norman Harris and Earl Young and them were doing things up there with them. And like Bunny got to know them, and we started to go up to like the city and start to do things, because like I got my mind made up. We actually started writing that song maybe about 2 years before we recorded it. Yeah, so it wasn't like it was a spontaneous thing. No, that song, we worked on that song for a long time, and so changing production like cities, the way they do things in New York was totally different than the way they do things in Philly. New York was, shall I say, wide open, so the element from the first one to like the second was like when we were round to the second, we were more like ready for it. We knew what to do then.
Yeah, all that time and hours put in the studio. I mean, it paid off.
Oh yeah.
And you guys came out with 2 albums that same calendar year, the Witch Doctor and Instant Funk. And but Witch Doctor was first in the year, or Instant Funk was first in that year?
Wait a minute, I don't understand what you're asking me.
Well, in 79, you had 2 albums. One was called Instant Funk, one was called Witch Doctor.
Okay. Yeah, like the Instant Funk was first.
That was first, okay. Yeah, so I misspoke in saying that Witch Doctor was the second. It was really the self-titled one. They both came out in 79. So, and that self-titled one had got my mind made up, the huge hit that you didn't see coming down the line.
No, I didn't see coming. No.
So for viewers and listeners, that hit number 1 on the R&B and the dance chart and top 20 on pop. So it was quite a phenomenon that year.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
definitely sounded like nothing else on the radio at that time. So that's really saying
Oh yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, I didn't realize how like mega it was until I was flying back from Los Angeles in first class, and it just hit me. Bang! You got a hit record. And I said, "Oh, do I?" I said, "Oh, shoot, I didn't know." I said, "Oh, this is why I'm up in first class, right?"
And it carried the album too. I mean, that was also a
Mhm.
gold record, I'm pretty sure. And
Yeah.
I want to mention, as we go through this, Kim, I want to mention a couple of my other favorites, and you can offer like comment if you remember
Mhm.
anything about them. Um, that album had Dark Vader, which was obviously of the time with Star Wars and all
Right.
that.
Right.
Uh, but it was funky and really,
Hmm.
strong lead vocals.
Hmm.
Um, and what else on that one? I'll Be Doggone, really funky. Great organ.
Hmm.
You mentioned Jimmy before.
Oh yeah.
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 And the bass, too, real up front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you here, Darth Vader. I never liked the song. I'm not gonna lie. I never liked the song, man. I
to
never liked it. Well, it's not that. I'm not saying like I just didn't like the song, but I didn't know where it was coming from when Bunny was doing it. Okay, I just couldn't make the connection with Star Wars. I mean, I knew who Darth Vader was, but the vibe of doing a song for Star Wars just wasn't up my alley, and I didn't like the song. But with that said, as I started listening to the song and hearing it, then I started to warm up to it a little bit. But from the beginning, I didn't like that song at all.
well, just with the name, you expect it, and you're thinking novelty song,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Well, I just at that time, Scott, I'm just saying that it was just one of those things that I had to learn about. That it's more than what you like. It's more about what's appealing to your fan base. It's about what they like. It's not about what I like.
What did you really like then? Who were some of the other groups that were out then that were among your favorites?
That were out then. Well, I was a big fan of the Barcades, um, GQ. Um, who else did I like? Well, and I liked Rick James a lot until I toured with him.
That goes back to what we
Uh,
were talking about a moment
yeah,
ago.
yeah. But very, very talented guy, though. I'm not taking nothing away from Rick. It's just the tour scene was a little horror story. And I liked Barry White.
Ah, the maestro.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like, what a class guy, man.
Mm.
What a class guy. You know,
Well,
like Cameo
Barcades were
was
great.
good too.
Yeah, Cameo.
Uh huh.
So back to the Witch Doctor album. I thought that this record was better than overall better than the
Hmm.
Instant Funk album.
Hmm.
So to me,
Okay.
it went to another level still, and especially the title track, really funky in the pocket. Um,
Hmm.
Witch Doctor, Body Shine, great bass line on that.
Hmm.
I hear some Graham Central Station coming through on that one.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, on that. You said like the witch doctor. We actually James Carmichael sang the lead, but Keith John was singing the second lead with him. Keith John, you remember what was his dad's name? Uh, what's his? I can't think of the boy's father's name, but they were called the John brothers. Oh, Little Willie John. Remember Little Willie John? This was from way back in the day.
I don't.
No. Well. Anyway, these were his two sons. They were young guys at that time. But Keith and like Kevin could like really sing. Well, Keith actually sings like backup for like Stevie Wonder now.
Mm.
You know, well, this is him like singing the second lead along with James. You know, and I thought it was a very interesting track. You know, like the concept was like different. I wish it had gotten a lot more airplay. You know, well, there's a lot of stuff on there that I wish had have gotten a lot of airplay, but that's another story. You know, the Body Shine, you know, like Raymond, Scotty, and me, and Larry Davis, which was our horn player. Actually, like the horns on that record was the like Brecker Brothers.
I saw that.
Yeah. And Mike and like Randy. Oh man, listen, man, and the sax solo that like Mike took. You know, he took, I don't know, 5 or 6 different solos that I was happy with any one of them, but he was saying, no, let me do it again, let me do it again, let me do it again. You know, see, these are the stories that people don't get to hear, you know, when you're in there recording, you know, but great guys, man. And what's the bone player's name was Tom Malone. He was from like the Saturday Night Live band, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, but it was great times though, you know. Really hard funk driven. You know, we at that time I was into a lot of rock sounds. You know, like I was getting into a lot of rock sounds. So I tried to do, and so I tried to put that element into that particular song. You know, like we actually do that on our live show now, but of course we like take it to a whole nother level now. You know. So.
Yeah, I can feel some of that rock edge to that for sure. Mm-hmm. Who are some of any particular rock bands that you were into?
Oh yeah, man, I like Aerosmith, Van Halen. You know, of course, Slash, man. You know, I love Slash. You know, like Journey, Pink Floyd. I love all them guys, man. You know, and I'm telling you, man, you can sit here, man, and just be all in tune with that stuff, man. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, is one thing about rock players. You know. I don't know, but it's been my opinion and view that white guys were just born to play the guitar, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man. Listen, every single. I mean, they guys are so talented, man. With the speed, it's like the guitar is part of their body, you know. And so I love to hear, you know, like, you know, the different ideas, the different sounds, you know, how they create like the overtones and all this kind of stuff, you know. So.
Well, with you saying that, you know, there was not a lot of guitar solos on the Instant Funk albums. Were you good with that, or were you kind of pushing for more solos, or where'd you stand on that?
No, well, you know, at that time, you know, my coming up, I focused in on like rhythm playing. You know, like rhythm was my forte. lead guitar and stuff like that, I basically started to really get into it. Maybe I don't know. I'd say about now, about 10 years ago. I just started going into like the lead stuff, and at that time, because of how the group was like funk was put together, that everything that we did, we always had another guitar player to come in and do like the lead stuff, because I always did like like the rhythm. So it took me a while to actually start to break myself into lead, because that's not where my excitement was when I first started playing. I was more into chord like rhythms and things of that nature. Like the like jazzier style of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Were there
So
any
that.
particular? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kym.
Sorry.
Were there any particular rhythm players that you kind of looked up to, like from maybe the James Brown bands, or maybe
Oh yes.
Catfish, or
Oh
anyone?
yeah. Oh, definitely definitely catfish. See, because in those times when I was growing up, there actually wasn't a lot of lead guitar playing. There was all these funky little high tony shacks on the guitar and stuff like that. So that's what I like gravitated to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Him and uh, I can't remember names
Jimmy
right
Nolan.
now. Yeah, man. Yeah, yes. All these cats. So that's basically where I got my thing from. And I heard this guy. I don't know if you heard of Tom. What's Tom's last name? Mulder. Tom Molden. He did a lot of like disco mixing for Sal. So like him and uh, um, I can't think of guys' names now. But whenever he would come in and mix some of our stuff, he used to always say, Kim, man, that's why I like mixing you guys' stuff, man, because everywhere I turn, if I want some like guitar to be there, I hit the fader and bang, it's right there. It's right there. I never have to look for it. It's right there. And that's the kind of thing that I focused on. Was giving that drive. You know.
So when you guys came up and you had your greatest success, it was at the zenith of the disco era. How much were you guys affected by disco? How did you feel about it? How did you try to strike a balance between disco and funk and some other influences?
Well, that was one of the things that we were pretty good at, is that wherever the fad was heading, that we were able to adapt to it. Uh, I never was a fan of abandoning my true like musical love, but I used to like to take the new and mix it with the old, to where I would never forget my musical roots. So that's basically how I did it. I never went from fad to fad. I never just completely went in, but I would add what the people were buying. Because in those days, that's what it came down to, is who was buying the like records. You know, um, and like whoever was out there spending that money to buy the records, that's who you wrote those songs to, as far as like record deals and things, because like the record industry, that's all they wanted was the money.
Well, and I know, for the longest time it was all about getting on radio, but in the late 70s, it was as much about getting the club DJs to play it too at the discos, and a lot of records got broken that way too. So
yes,
yeah,
yes, 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 and that's goes back to the Studio 54 days and the Roselands and all that kind of stuff. Because that's where, just like you said, like records got broken.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then later on, those records were literally broken with the disco backlash, but that's another story. So in 1980, you guys came with The Funk Is On, and it didn't quite do as well. How'd you feel about the record and the direction you guys were going at that point?
Well, at that point, things were actually starting to get a little like rocky between the like the record label, the production and the band, because like I said from the beginning, it was the three of us. And actually, with the I got my mind made up, me saying that I didn't even realize how big a record that it was, that when they put that out, that they actually didn't put any promotion behind it. The record just took off by itself before they realized, hey, we have a hit here, And so actually calls were coming in for us to come and do live performances, but it was only the three of us. We only had three because we used like studio cats to come in and do this and do that, And I mean, like, we didn't have a lead singer. I mean, like, we didn't have anything. So we were running around putting this band together. Well, that's like another story. So it got down to that. But by the Funk Is On album, it started to become very I wasn't happy because things were starting to go away from the foundation of what we built, and by that time, I was starting to really know what the industry was about and how it worked. I'm talking about the writers, the production, all these things, of all the signing that we did. I'm starting to know what I signed, because when I signed it, I didn't know what I signed. I was signing stuff because I've been working all my life to become a successful artist, and I'm thinking that the people I'm working with, they have our back. So I was starting to see that was not the case. So this is why
disillusioned at that point, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. With the like publishing and all that kind of stuff. So at this time I'm starting to see, because what was starting to happening up in the New York area was that there were a lot of other song like writers that wanted to write material for us. I'm talking about guys that have written hits for other people, that we were like willing to have, because we're hitting a different plateau here, and things were just not going the way that they should. And I think that it started to reflect in the like music, because it was coming up to a point where we were starting to feel like we just don't even care.
Well, like you were saying before about the attitude and not being a job and that kind of thing, I think it kind of came across, because to me it's maybe the weakest album is The Funk Is On, for my personal taste. So interesting to hear the background for sure, what was going on. And for you, I guess you were out of your teens, and all of a sudden, you know, the innocence of being a teenager in the music business sounds like it kind of went
Yeah.
away.
Right. Right. You know, all of the lights and like the glitter and the excitement, you know, after for lack of a better word, I was just getting to the point where I just wasn't going to be pimped anymore.
Hmm.
You know, and that's how I felt. And I said, you know, because I prayed about it because I'm a very spiritual guy, and I said, you know, this is what I'm going to do. You know, like a lot of the like legal people were saying, hey, you know, you guys, you got a record deal and everything. Just do what you're gonna do and everything. But I refused to do what we were doing, and I wasn't getting paid for it. But I see you like reaping all of the benefits of what I'm doing, and I just couldn't do that.
What were your stage shows like, and during the sort of height of instant funk? You know, what was your
Well,
presentation? What was your presentation like?
well, they were off the chain, and they you know, it's off the chain like the presentation. I mean, it was just hyped from the beginning to the end. It's high energy, you know. You know, and that's what I was saying. You know, around those times, you know, like one of the best tours that we were on was with the Barcades and GQ. You know, we did that for I don't know for like a minute, and you know, and we learned a lot from the Barcades as far as live show. You know, live show. I mean, concert like concert venue as opposed to a club. It's two different things. It's two completely like different worlds. You know, now in a club setting at that time, you know, we knew how to reach the audience and things. But in the arena, here it is now because in a club you could be on the stage, you could reach out and you could touch that fan. And a concert venue, you up on a 10-foot high stage and you got 10,000 people there, and you have to know how to reach that same person as if you were in a club. So there's different ways. So like the Barcades really taught us a lot of things on how to do that. You know, so like the show was definitely back then, and even so more now. You know, I mean, you know, you're not going to come to a show and see me like dancing all across the stage like I was 20, 30 years ago, but the energy is still there. Uh,
You guys came back with "Look So Fine" in '82, and I thought it was. I don't know how you felt about it, but I felt like it was more of a return to form from the Funk Is On. Catchier songs, and the
mhm,
synthesizers were more prominent. You guys were changing your sound a little bit.
mhm. Yeah, well, actually, the group actually changed in that time. Uh, if you notice, like the "Look So Fine" album cover just was like a box. You know, it had nobody's picture on it because we had completely changed. You know, it was still the same core, but like the lead, like singing, like maybe James maybe sung two or three songs on it, but we had like Cubby St. Charles had sang a few things, and another guy, I can't remember his name now, but that was, I mean, things then was, I mean, like things were right in the midst of the fan. Everything was hitting the fan then, you
Yeah.
know. But we had an obligation to finish out our like recording deal.
I felt like "Why Don't You Think About Me" should have been a hit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, you know, in those days, I don't know why the record label wasn't wasn't pushing anything. They really weren't. I think that at that time that maybe they saw that they didn't want to do anything then either. But I agree with you. Yeah.
Was "Give It to You, Baby" sort of a Rick James answer?
Yeah, yes, because it's got the same drive as I forget the whatever song it was.
"Give It to Me, Baby."
Yeah, give it to me, baby. Right.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how that song came up, but we did it. Is that the same album that like the Hard Day's Night was on?
No, that's I think the next one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But another observation I saw on this record, though, that looks so fine, Slam Dunk the Funk, was the same Sun. If you remember Sun, they came out with the song with that same title that same year.
Yeah. Like you said, Sun.
Sun came out with Slam Dunk the Funk also that same year.
Yes.
Totally different song, though.
Yeah, man.
But it's funny, you look back at these things especially, and you see like what was sort of in the ether at the time, for the funk groups or whatever. A lot of the themes and the terms and things kind of crossed, and the sounds and all that. Yeah. Instant Funk 5, 83, you guys were still chugging along and still on Salsa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're already into like 83 here. How were you feeling about things at that point?
Oh, I was, to be honest with you, I was just through, and I was just could not wait until this deal was over with. That's me. That's how I was feeling. But creatively, I still felt like an obligation to do some things that I could do. I was trying to put that aside and just do what I'm supposed to do.
Were you guys still touring and doing shows in 83?
Yeah.
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 Who Took Away the Funk, to me, was your most sort of like Parliament Funkadelic influenced kind of track that you guys ever did?
Yeah, around that time, see people, guys come in with different ideas and different songs and things like that, and they catch on. I do believe that the concept could have been like a little more together, but during the time and what was going on, like I understood, but it was a funky song though.
It was definitely funky, and I felt like you guys were making a statement, that the funk was kind of not, where was it, at that point?
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
it's true. But that's the story of why you saw from a certain point it started to be, maybe there's one or two, and then the rest of them, because it was a lot that was going on inside the unit.
Yep. And then Kinky was the final one. Definitely trying something different. The cover didn't look like any of the previous covers that you guys had done, and you had some hip hop influence coming in for the first time. Yeah.
Right. Oh, definitely, yeah, because that was around the time where it really started to pop. I'm talking about the hip hop. So, and like I said, like the personnel of the unit changed. So like we had that a few like people who had that type of element with them. So.
Well, in particular, "Don't Call Me Brother" was very much like "The Message" by Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah. That "Don't Call Me Brother," I mean, I really like that track. I wish they had done more like with it. Um, like Bunny had come up with the idea to do it. But the vibe of the track, we just went all out funk and rock with it.
Yeah.
I and in other words, like I had fun doing it.
Yeah, I like that track. Also, Let's Make Love. I mean, the bass is kicking on that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, we do a few of those songs in our show now. Hmm.
Well, through it all, I mean, you're talking about sort of the spirit and the consistency wavering, but
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
but Bunny Sigler was there through it all, right? I mean, every single
Yeah.
record.
Oh yeah. 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 I mean, like we had to. I mean, that's what our contracts, like stated. Like we had to do it. Because like I said, that around that time, things were not good. But for the sake of like living up to what our obligation was, we had to see it through.
But you're also still doing the Evelyn King stuff, like you're on the record she had with "I'm in Love" on it, and some of her biggest hits.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We actually did her first two albums because after that she went with Kashif. Yeah. So everything on her first two albums is all us.
So, did the relationship sour with Bunny at all as you were kind of going through those changes?
Well, I wouldn't say like sour. I would say, um, I can't even think of a word, but it wasn't sour.
Strained?
Yeah, strained. Yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes, it was.
So, what happened when the group stopped recording? What happened with you guys?
Well, we just started doing live dates. We just started doing as much as we could. Like we took a break there for about 5 6 years, and then we started up again, and we just started doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Basically just like traveling and performing live. Which is what we're doing now. Mhm.
Were you guys interested in getting another record deal, or you just kind of were fed up at that point, or?
Well, yeah, maybe right after the South Soul stuff, but as a couple years after that, I was just fed up. I was just fed up. I said I'll just ride out what I have done and hope that God blesses me.
So in 2017, I mean, what a double thing that was with your brother and Bunny both
Hmm.
going in the same year.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yes,
yeah.
yeah. When things like that happen, it kind of it kind of makes you realize what's important and what isn't. Because like we get to thinking that we're never going to lose anybody, or like the way your life has been your whole time, that it's just going to be that way, and then things, like natural things happen, and then you get a rude awakening, you know and that's what it was for me. you know um my brother and I were very, very close. um so when that loss came, it was really hard. It was really hard, and then like Bunny going, after all of the like reconciling and everything, because life happens. I'm not gonna hate anybody. So that was like reconciled, and at the end of his life, my wife and I were there for him. And then that happens, and then right after that, my mother dies.
Mm.
And it was, so I'm writing now, but I take that negative force and I use it for strength. As far as me going on,
Right.
because like what else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like what else are we gonna do?
And you got to do their memories. You got to honor their
Yeah,
memories. That's part of
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Because when I think of them, I don't think of the negative stuff. I'm looking at them like laughing and smiling and the things that they used to say and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that I just take that sad energy and I turn it into positive. Hmm.
As you look back on the catalog, which is there an album and track that is your favorite?
Um, Favorite. I don't know if I would say. Well, there's a few in there. Like I have favorites on every single album. Like on the first one I got Remind Made Up. I like Why World of Sports, which is a whole different thing. I like the Witch Doctor. I like the on the first album. I like the So Glad I'm the One. Uh, Get Down with the Philly Jump, like the Witch Doctor was like the Body Shine and the Witch Doctor. What came after that? The look so fine. No, like the Funk is on. Um, I like it. It's cool on the Funk is on.
Yeah, I like that one
Yeah,
too.
which I thought should have been the single.
Mm.
I really, really did, but the record company said no, we're going with this. So I said okay. Um, and the look so fine. Can you see where I'm coming from? I really like that one. And like the Kinky, I guess, was the Don't Call Me Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah. Those are mostly all among my favorites too.
yeah.
Um, so bring us totally up to speed, Kim. With obviously you're in a holding pattern in a lot of ways due to the COVID situation,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
what do you hope to do once that lifts, and how can people keep up with what you and Instant Funk is up to?
Okay, like the COVID thing has got the whole industry on pause, of course, but my wife and I have a company. It's Keiki Productions, and we do our own live events and things of that nature, which you can reach us through the Instant Funk official uh, at gmail.com, which is our email. Or you can do Keiki Productions LLC at gmail.com. And we do that. And like the Instant Funk thing is that we're still doing what we've always done. You know, we're still live. We're still functional. You can reach us on the Instant Funk Official at gmail.com. Uh, to if you're looking for us to play for you or whatever. And but basically, the Keiki Productions is what I basically put most of my time into. Uh, because most of our instant funk shows that we do come through Keiki Productions. So that's how I do things. But I do other events. Um, different functionings. People are having like cabarets and different kind of shows.
Hey Kim, look, man, it's been great talking to you and hearing these stories, and I'm so glad you're still with us to share them, that you're still performing, and I can't wait for things to clear so you can keep bringing it to the people like that.
Well, thank you, Scott. Once again, I thank you for having me. Hey, my friend, I've gained a new friend now. If you need me for anything, just hit me up.
I may do that now that you know how to connect.
Okay. Oh yeah, right. Thank you, sir.
Hey, back at Truth and Rhythm headquarters. Thank you for joining us on another magical ride with Truth and Rhythm. Whether you're watching or listening, as always, thank you so much for your continued interest and support. Be sure to subscribe. Go to YouTube, go to the Funk and Stuff channel. That's where Truth and Rhythm lives and breathes and thrives. Also, goodies here like TIR quick takes. And if you subscribe, you know what? You get the show before anyone else. It's free. If you love jazz, funk, R&B, soul, you can't miss it. Pass it along. Tell a friend. Tell family. This audience is growing, and it is a beautiful thing, all coming together for the love of this great music. Also, if you can throw us a buck or two, we could use the support financially, keeping the lights on, keeping the servers going, all these expenses. If you can help support the program, whatever you can give, much appreciated. Go to the funkandstuff.net website. And on the right hand side of every page, you just click and you can donate through PayPal, credit card, whatever. Very easy to do and so much appreciated. And if you do a sizable donation, I will mention you on the program. Also, drop me a line. Email me at scottg@funkandstuff.net. Let me know who else you'd like to see on the show, what you enjoy about the music. Let's just kibitz and talk about stuff, talk music. You'll find that I respond very quickly, and I much enjoy the rapport and the camaraderie and the interaction. Always remember, this is your show, The True Music Lover. So for now, that's all the time we have for this one. It's a wrap. As always, Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.